Please do not consider this video as legal advice for registering yourself with the police in China. This is just my experience and Julian's experience with registering ourselves at the police station in China. Nevertheless, I hope this video helps you guys out. Enjoy! Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, I'm going to be discussing the police registration system in China. Because for those of you that don't know, according to the China immigration law, every foreigner must register with the police within 24 hours after arrival. Now, normally, if you would just visit China on a tourist visa, the hotel that you check into, they make a copy of your passport and they register with the police for you. So if you visit China as a tourist, you won't notice anything of the whole police registration system, except for the fact that you need to leave a copy of your passport. I went to China on a student visa, and as a student, you usually live in a student dorm, or you live somewhere other than hotels. So in that case, you need to register with the police yourself. And this is a whole system, and that's what I'm going to be explaining to you guys. And later on in this video, I'm going to invite Julian to come and explain his experience with the police registration, because his experience was yet again a little bit different, because he registered himself on my address in my dorm room. So he can share his side of the story later. So when I arrived in China last year, fortunately XJTLU picked us up from the airport and brought us to the student dorms and helped us settle into the student dorms. And the next day they took us to the police station to register ourselves. So luckily for us, it wasn't too hard to figure everything out, because they brought us to the police station, and it was kind of self-explanatory from there. So I'm just going to kind of explain how this went. I'm going to put up here what the form looks like that I filled in upon arrival in China. So on the registration form, I had to fill in some basic information such as my name, my sex, my date of birth, my nationality, my passport number, where I entered into the country, so which airport, what date I entered the country, the visa type that I had, the visa number, where the visa was issued, the expiry date of the visa, the purpose of my stay, the room number I would be staying in, and my signature. So for privacy reasons, I've blurred out any sensitive information, but you can still see what the form looks like and what information I need to fill in. So the next day at 9 a.m., we were brought to the police station to register ourselves. And officially, you're supposed to register yourselves with the police within 24 hours after arrival. And I arrived at the airport at something like 6 a.m. or whatever it was, and we didn't register until like 9 or 10 a.m. So I was like, this is over 24 hours. So I was a little bit worried about that, but considering the fact that we were being helped with the whole situation, I wasn't too worried about it, because I figured, XJTLU knew what it was doing, and they did. I mean, at the police station, they didn't seem to mind that I arrived the day before and had officially been more than 24 hours. This wasn't an issue, so we just, it was only 3 hours more than 24 hours, like 27 or 28 hours, like whatever it was. So this wasn't a problem. And at the police station, I gave them the form that I filled in along with my passport. So you give these two things to the police officer, they fill it in on the computer, and then you get a different piece of paper which looks like this. So on the previous piece of paper, you saw that there was a stamp from the accommodation center, and on this piece of paper you have the stamp of the police office. So the information on this sheet is again my name, my sex, my date of birth, my passport number, the room I stayed at, the date, and a telephone number, and of course the police stamp. Now after I received this confirmation, I brought this piece of paper back to the accommodation, which they needed to scan in as proof that I did register myself with the police, because that is the only way for them to know that I actually did register myself with the police. This was something that I did not know, so that day I just hung out all day. I explored the campus, which is a completely different video. But anyways, so at the end of that day, I arrived back at my room and the doors open with a key card, and I was unable to enter my room. So first I started doubting myself. I was like, am I confused? Am I at the wrong room number? Am I on the wrong floor? Or like, what am I doing wrong? Until like I just came to the conclusion that this had to be my room and the key card was rejecting it. So I went to the front desk and they were like, yeah, like, did you register with the police? Like, we locked you out of your room because you didn't show us any proof. And I was like, what do you mean? Of course I registered with the police. And they were like, well, show us the proof. So I did, and then that's when I found out that every time you register with the police, you actually have to show the accommodation, your registration with the police. Otherwise, they don't know that you registered there. So yeah, that's exactly what I did. So as of then, I knew how to register with the police. If any of you guys are going to travel to China, be aware of this police registration thing, especially if you don't stay at a hotel. And if you're going to study at XUTLU and you make use of the pickup service, they will help you with your police registration. And if you don't make use of the pickup service, don't worry about it, because the police station is really near to the dorms. So they can show you on a map where you need to go, or like you can ask around, bring your friend, whatever, and you can find your way to the police station without a problem. And yeah. Now I'm going to ask Julian to join us to tell you guys his police registration story, because his story is a little bit different. Because he registered himself on my address. Because I already registered myself like 4 months earlier, I went through the whole process like I just explained to you guys. I went through the whole process with him and showed him like what to do. So yeah, I'm gonna get him to tell you guys his experience.
You still got bubble tea.
Hey, that's mine. Okay, so the day that Julian arrived, I picked him up from the airport and we immediately went to the front desk to fill in the first form that I just showed you guys, so that we could bring that to the police station. So yeah, that's what we did, and that was kind of hectic because due to the language barrier, which was still rather big after learning it for 4 months, it took quite a while for them to understand that we wanted to register Julian at my address. You remember? Yeah. It was really frustrating, but in the end, after like 3 attempts, we managed to get the right form and he filled in the form, and then afterwards I brought him to the police station. So yeah, do you want to tell everyone what happened then?
So we went to the police station and we were eager to register me within the required 24 hours.
Yeah, because we were like, the sooner the better.
Yeah,
just get it over with.
And I heard all sorts of horror stories about you getting fined if you don't do it within 24 hours, or like you'll get issues when you try to leave the country.
Yeah.
So we like tried to stick to the rules, and we arrived at the police station and there was nobody there. We were looking around like, where's everyone? And eventually we found a woman that worked there. I don't think she was a police officer, but she was like, we're closed. And we're like, but we have to register like within the 24 hours.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, come back tomorrow, I think she said.
Yeah, it was kind of confusing. Like, she kept pointing at the calendar, come back Tuesday, and it was Sunday. And I tried to explain to her that we wanted to register within 24 hours, and she kept pointing to Tuesday. She was like, yeah, come back Tuesday, you need to come back Tuesday. And I was like, but it's more than 24 hours. But she was really persistent that we had to come back Tuesday.
Yeah. So we were kind of like, okay, like nobody's gonna help us, we're gonna have to come back in 2 days. So we left, I think, right?
Yeah, we didn't really trust it though, so we went back to the front desk of the dorm, and then we told them, because I told you guys earlier, if you don't provide proof that you registered, they lock you out of the room. So we went back to desk and we were like, we can't register ourselves today. Like, they won't let us. And they were like, no, of course not, because it's Sunday.
Yeah,
And
which they forgot to tell us. But
yeah, so we were like, okay, so what? So apparently the police station is closed on Sunday and probably on Saturday as well. I think they're just closed on weekends. And the Monday was a national holiday. So they were like, yeah, you can't register until Tuesday. So we were like, okay. So the whole 24-hour thing isn't as big of a deal as it seemed, because, you know, I registered too late and a few hours too late, and Julian registered like 2 or 3 days too late. Yeah. But what we think is they did like send messages to the police. Like on the document it does still say like when he arrived.
I think they took pictures, and you always see them sending stuff like over WeChat. So I don't know who they're contacting. Maybe they're sending it to their local police station, and they'll pick it up on like when they open again. Yeah. On the Tuesday. Because
I mean, they still know when he landed, but we just didn't register within the 24 hours. So I guess, I mean, yeah, it's not as big of a deal as it seems.
But this was a registration for a temporary stay, right?
Yeah.
So as a tourist, you're not really bothered with this as much.
Yeah, I already explained.
Oh, you already explained that?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, normally the hotel takes care of this for you, but since I was going to stay with her for 2 months, I wanted to register there as well, so that I could stay with you.
Yeah. So, yeah. That basically sums up police registration. We were kind of nervous to get it done, but in the end, it's not as big of a deal as they make it seem, because, you know, we didn't manage to register him within the 24 hours, and when we did register him, like, it just took a few minutes, and then we brought the evidence to the front desk, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so beforehand, they make you, like, a little bit scared, like, oh, you have to do it, and with fines, but eventually everyone's super chill, and they're like, don't mind if it's 3 days too late for some reason. I guess this was a kind of special situation.
Yeah, exactly. They don't mind if you just, you know, arrive on a Monday and don't do anything for 3 days. But I mean, there is some leeway with holidays and weekends and stuff like that. So don't panic. It's, you know, it's not as stressful as it seems, basically.
But make sure not to forget to do it.
Yeah, don't forget. Well, you can't forget, because if you forget, like,
they'll probably lock you out.
They'll lock you out. Or do you have anything to add?
Don't think so, no.
Okay. Well, that was our experience registering with the police in China. If you guys have any questions about registering yourself with the police in China, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll answer them. And yeah, that basically sums up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye guys!
Bye!